Okay, so pardon the mess, but I wanted to do a super quick unboxing of the Atomos Ninja V Plus Pro Kit, Ninja 5 Plus Pro Kit. This one just came in and from B&H Photo, and I've been working with the Shogun for since 2015, and just upgrading to go with my Sony Alpha 1 camera, which just came in as well. So it looks like we got a nice big black box here. There's the sun hood, the spacer, the SDI module, and a DC to D-tap cable, which that looks like an improvement right off. Looks like that DC to D-tap cable does has a locking mechanism on it, which my old one didn't have, and that was always a pain. It would kind of drop off the Shogun, the SDI expansion module, and the sun hood. But let's get into the actual Ninja 5. Open it up. I remember the Shogun I had previously had a giant Pelican case, which was always rather cumbersome. Looks like this is a lot tighter. Of course, the screen is only 5 inches as opposed to 7, so quite a bit smaller. Nice looking case here. Real classy looking case. Open up, and there is the Ninja in another sleeve. Nice protective sleeve. That looks great. It seems a lot more well built than my Shogun. The Ninja 5 Plus is metal with the plastic backing, a lot more solid. Connections, HDMI connections on the sides there, adjustable mounting points. Power button seems a lot more stable and solid. That power button on the Shogun was always really jumbly. And then there's a couple boxes in here. We have, looks like, a power adapter. So instead of plugging directly into the unit, you have to use the adapter, which goes on there, and then that probably makes that screw-on D-tap connection for the power. So that's great. Looks seems a lot more solid again than the other previous version. There's a Master Caddy 2. That was one of the things that I noticed. The B&H shows all these different caddies, the Angel Bird or the Atom X caddies, very expensive, and doesn't really mention that the Master Caddy 2, the old caddies that were on the old Ninja and Shogun, are still just fine to use with this. Really cheap, and I have a bunch laying around with drives already in them. Some of the older drives have started to fail, so you do want to use those approved drives, even though at the moment Atomos doesn't even show any approved drives for the V Plus or the 5 Plus. So looks like we got a bunch of power adapters here, different international power adapters, and an AC plug. So that's about it for what's in the box. Take a look at the sun hood real quick, just to see if there's any differences or if it's pretty standard. And excuse the mess, by the way. We're doing a refit on the boat that I live on, so everything's a disaster, and I'm getting ready to go to Japan Saturday, so that's what all this is prep for. Looks like the sun hood is a little better designed than the old one that I had with the old Shogun. You had to screw it on. This one looks like it just clips on. Yeah, so just a quick clip mount, plastic. It looks like it's got some gap in between the screen there. I don't know if that'll be an issue, maybe if the sun's coming from the side or whatever, but certainly a lot easier to snap on than having to screw into the mounting holes, but a little less secure. So that remains to be seen. We'll see how that goes. It's supposed to be rainy in Japan, so I doubt I'll be using the sun hood unless maybe just for protection from the elements. It appears the software has been updated. At least I was working with my old Shogun, which has probably a pretty outdated software, so people working with a newer Ninja might have seen something new. I do recall last summer I worked on a project, maybe it was summer before last, where I rented a Ninja 5, and the software was not anything like this. So this, as you can see, is like a tabbed input, output, record, time-lapse, time code, file, as opposed to the big red buttons on the bottom, which I'm familiar with. You can kind of see running on the old Shogun there. But looks like a lot nicer design, better colors, much better resolution. All that remains to be seen. I just threw an old drive in here right now. It's an SSD, an old Mercury Extreme, and I had an issue with it before, where this particular drive was failing, so I just thought I'd throw something in there and see if it works. I'll probably dispose of this drive and get a new one. They're so cheap right now, the SSDs. The issue might be the speed of the drive and how quickly it's able, or how fast it's able to read and write, and whether that's able to do the 8K and the 4K high speed and all that. So I'll have to see. Right now I think this camera is outputting, I have it set at XAVC SI 4K 60p. The camera that's feeding into the Ninja. So I've got to do some playing to figure out if there are limitations on the different drive types. Again, Atomos has not yet given us any information about what drives are supported by this, even though here it is in my hand, although I haven't checked today. Maybe it has, or has not released support for the Alpha 1, Sony Alpha 1 camera, which is the camera that I'll be using it with. Obviously it works. It's outputting 4K video and it's recording 4K video, so any 4K feed should be fine, but it will be interesting to see what becomes available as it's actually supported and as firmware updates come out. Let's see, there's the video format tab, which shows the incoming format, the codec, the compression, how much can be recorded on the particular card, very similar to what was in there previously, the camera output for the HDMI output, whether that's doing log or HDR, high dynamic range, and then there's looks like that's not a function setting, match camera for correct image processing, so you get your Rec 709 gammas and gamuts, playback auto HDR, and then output. Bring that up a little closer. So right now there's no HDMI output, obviously. Output options, HDR, audio meters, date, battery. Right now I'm plugged into the external battery, so there's the voltage. Tap to lock and unlock as previous, and then there's a new tab for Atom X, which shows the different base module and top modules that are have options of different accessories that can be added as part of the new Atom X environment from Atomos. Playback mode like before, and then we have all the features. It looks like pretty similar to what was there before as well. Make sure I got a feed in here. Put it in record mode. Takes a second to transition over. Should be a footage there. There we go. Feed in. 1:1. And there's the waveforms. Tap for the different sizes. Looks like RGB waveforms, RGB parade, peaking, different type of peaking and focus assists. All pretty similar to what was in there previously. It's like tags and frames. Yeah, I've got some playing around to figure out exactly all the different features. Looks like there's waveform. Okay, so this is the waveform functions as opposed to the quick options to bring them up and just tap through them. you can bring them up and set the settings. Focus peaking, zebra, LUTs, load different LUTs in through the card, monitor, whether the monitor is showing native or LUTs, and then the different display options, backlight, lift, gamma, and gain, so you can adjust those and have better control over your monitor. And then, as usual, as previous, you tap on the different elements up here to access. So there's the drive, the battery, the time code, the record, codecs and compressions, output settings, and input settings. So quick access to those are through the settings menu there. There's a tally light and lock and flip. Whoop, now I have to flip. And yeah, that's everything. At least the quick basics. I probably missed some stuff, but again, just arrived a few minutes ago, and now I've got to go back. Hope this helps somebody maybe making a decision if they want to do the upgrade like I did or hold with what they've got. Certainly looks a lot nicer, and it'll be a more compact form factor for on-the-go type shooting, which is what I was really looking for.